How's it going? Today I'm just going to do a quick little review of my PowerKNX 30-ton log splitter, which is right here. And I don't really have a ton to say other than it's been doing a great job. So I'll just do kind of a quick little walk around and say what I like about it and everything. So let's get started. First thing I want to mention is the wedge is pretty darn sharp. It comes with a nice sharp wedge on it, and that has gotten through everything that I've wanted it to get through. So I wanted to show that up close. And next, I wanted to mention that these tires are good tires. They're rated at 45 miles an hour on the interstate, and not all log splitters are like that. Some of the kinetic splitters that I've seen in particular, the tires are only rated for like farm use or ATVs or whatever. You can't pull them on the road. They're not rated to be on the road. So it's got a trailer hitch, tires that can at least go 45 and get on the highway. And this thing has plenty of power. I work with all tree service wood, so this thing has been able to get through anything I've thrown at it, and that's why I got this. Now, they're working on the cycle times on these to speed up the cycle times. That'll probably be out later this year, according to the guys at Tool Tough Direct. But I also wanted to mention there's a difference in, like, a kinetic splitter, it's fast, but the way that energy is stored in a kinetic splitter is different than a hydraulic splitter. Kinetic energy is stored and released, and as the ram releases the energy, the power decreases. So with this splitter, it's hydraulic and it builds up. If it needs more power, the cylinder builds up and it pushes harder and harder and harder until it pushes through. With a kinetic splitter, the max amount of force is when you engage that flywheel and the ram starts to push at the very beginning. As that ram extends, it loses power. So if it hits something that it can't go through, it will stop. So I know the kinetic splitters are pretty good and they're very fast and they get through a lot of stuff, but I really wanted the extra power of this 30-ton hydraulic, and that's the next thing. For the price, you can't beat it. This was $1,200 plus shipping, and so the price is another big thing. I also like that it goes horizontal and vertical. So any of the big rounds that I need, I can just put it in the vertical position and roll the logs up to it, and it splits vertically. No problems there. The Kohler engine has been good to start. I can walk you around and show you the engine in a minute. I ran it in 6-degree weather, and it was a little cold that morning. I had to pull on it for a couple minutes. Well, it felt like a couple minutes, but I mean, I probably only pulled on it 15 times or so. And it started up, and it got, just let it warmed up, and it worked at 6 degrees with the AW32 hydraulic oil is what I was using. That's plenty. I've done a video on hydraulic oil. You can search my page. And that's something else. If you want to see this machine running, I'm not going to do that in this video. There is a bunch of videos on my page of this machine operating. Just go to my page, search 30-ton log splitter, search through the videos. You can see the thing working. I have hours of footage of this machine working. And other than that, I don't have a ton to say. Also, the parts are available from Tool Tough. You can get these. You can replace the valves, you can replace the cylinder, you can buy seal kits, pumps. Now I will say this filter on the hydraulic line doesn't have a lot of numbers on it, so it takes some research to find these filters. But it's just a hydraulic filter, and I'm getting ready to get into that. Sorry I don't have more information. When I get more information on this filter, because I'm getting ready to have to change it, I'll let you know what I found, because there's different thread sizes. I think it's a 1-inch coupler, but there's different thread sizes, there's different microns, there's different flow rates, and there's some numbers printed on the bottom of this, but they're not pulling up on Google. So I'll find a hydraulic filter. That's not the end of the world. That's just something to be aware of. Other than that, everything's been great. It has the log table, which I use all the time. Let me just stand up here, so I know I can't be in the footage if I'm sitting down or if I'm standing up. So the log table I use all the time, and I'm just going to take this off of here. The log table is really convenient. I use that constantly. It has the bleeder valve here. If you get too much hydraulic fluid in it, it'll bleed that off, and that needs to be cleaned. You can see how dusty that gets. So I need to make sure I can wipe that off and clean it. Might soak it in some kerosene or something. But here's the Kohler engine, and it is reliable. It's been good so far. The oil changes are easy. It's right down here off of this plate. You just pull the plug and drain the oil, and there's the fill. There's a fill on both sides. There's a fill there, and there's a fill down in there. That one's really hard to get to, but you can with a long funnel with a tube. There's not much else to say, guys. I just wanted to give some positive remarks. I love it. It's a beautiful machine. I like the colors. I like the black. And there's your trailer hitch and chains it comes with. And if I think of anything else, I will add it. But overall, it's been a darn good machine. It's a good piece of equipment. It's helped me get a lot of work done. It paid for itself in like 3 weeks this fall, if that tells you anything. So you can go spend $20,000 on a splitter if you want to, and you know, you'll never get it paid off. But here's something else. My thoughts on that are, you're only going to sell so much firewood. I'm just going to walk inside. It's freezing cold outside. Okay, some of my other thoughts on that are, you're only going to sell a finite, and this is kind of, I just had this in my head the other day, but you're only going to sell so much firewood every year, right? Whether it's whatever you sell, if it's 5 cords, 20 cords, or 30 cords. So I know if you just kind of change your mindset a little bit to, I have, you know, all spring and to get this done, and as long as you can get the work done. Now you might lose a couple minutes each day in splitting. If you had a faster splitter, you know, you might get home 20 minutes faster or whatever done with the work. But that's my point, is if you're only going to sell, say, 10 cords in a year, as long as you get those 10 cords split, you don't need more. So if you want to pay $20,000 and hurry up and get done with your work in a hurry, I mean, you can, but you'll never pay it off. But I mean, if I kind of had a revelation of, if you have a mindset of, well, I'm going to get the 10 cord split regardless, so I can pay for a $10,000 splitter or a $1,200 splitter. If that makes any sense, you know what I'm saying? You're going to get the wood split as long as you just kind of, if you're just laid back about it and you're like, it's no big deal, I just do a little every day, I'm going to get my wood for the year split. I mean, if you go run through it and get it done in 3 days, great. Well, then your splitter's going to sit there not being used, and there's no real gain to that. I mean, if you're done splitting wood for the year or whatever, you're done. So it's kind of not the end of the world for me. Like, you can split a pretty good amount of wood with this. You know, if you're going to do 100 cords or more, sure, you're going to want to probably start getting maybe a faster splitter. But as a beginning firewood business or a home hobbyist, or it's just for making firewood for your family or a farm or whatever, it's all the splitter you really would need. And that's just my opinion. You know, they're working on the cycle times, but that was a long explanation. Everything's been good on the splitter so far. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe, and don't forget, like I said, there's a ton of videos on my page with more information on this log splitter. Information on hydraulic oil and all kinds of stuff. If you're gonna buy a splitter, I like the PowerKNX. I would recommend it, and they're only making improvements all the time. So later this year, there will be new models out. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.